Good afternoon, this is Brian. Today is a beautiful Sunday, May 2nd, 2021 in the Cleveland National Forest, the Elsinore/Santa Ana Mountains. The Elsinore Mountains are part of the Greater Santa Ana Range. So, if you recognize the layout of this area, because I've shot video here before, it's a lot of fun, be aware. This is the old turnout area where I did a hike back in late January to Elsinore Peak. However, I'm not here to hike to Elsinore Peak. I'm here on the other side because I also did a video segment on this side going up this little small hill over here. The reason why I'm coming back here is that it's springtime. What a lot of the plants do in the spring, they bloom. So that's why I'm here this time. And it is blooming. Got our rush rose right here. Now, I learned of this plant as being named Helianthemum scoparium, but I believe the genus name is so I'll add that in the description or comments once I do some research. But I learned it as Helianthemum scoparium. It's call it rock rose or brush rose. Small, mostly herbaceous, maybe slightly woody-based subshrub in the rock rose family, the Cistaceae. And of course, we've got disturbed sites. We've got golden yarrow, Eriophyllum confertiflorum, variety confertiflorum. And of course, you got a lot of Ceanothus crassifolius, variety crassifolius, Adenosoma fasciculatum, variety fasciculatum, bush monkey flower, and I believe this is Diplochus punaceus. We got a lot of rush rose up here, and it's nicely in bloom. Like I said, I learned it as Helianthemum, but it might have changed. Botanists might have changed the taxonomy of it. And another plant that I noticed blooming on the way up when I was driving over here. Let's see if I can get to it without tripping over my own 2 feet. Highlights of the Santa Ana Mountain springtime. Penstemon spectabilis, variety spectabilis. Showy beer tongue or showy penstemon in the Plantagenaceae. Absolutely stunning plant in bloom. Let's check and see if that fragrance doesn't smell any. Yes, this is the time of year when the plants really come to life. Think of it, just think, this is a drought year. This was a bone dry rainy season we just came through. And yet we're still pretty lit over here. During a rainier year, I would suspect that this area would be probably inconceivably covered up in flowers, but this is a dry year and yet we still get some pretty good displays. Another plant around here seems to have died off. It was a short-lived perennial called golden eardrops, and I've seen patches of it along here, along the South Main Divide truck trail, but I don't seem to see any of it blooming up here. It's golden eardrops, Arundorferia chrysantha. It's another really neat plant. I know I showed some of the old stalks the old spent stalks, but I don't seem to see any blooming up here this year on this little particular hill. Kind of expecting to. Let's see. This area was disturbed by fire, so a lot of post-fire plants have come up to replace the formerly dense chaparral. in the first stage of area recovery after fire. I'm trying to see if I can find any blooming golden eardrops up here. I'm failing to find right now, unfortunately. A lot of bush sunflower up here. Yes, I think I found some. Yeah, I think I found some. Walking through this natural garden. To me, the natural gardens, not the ones that look overly landscaped by humans. The natural gardens, to me, look the best. See, we got a lot of these shorter-lived species come here in succession. They come up, they live for a year, some of them are annuals, and these are all short-lived perennials. They come up in groves. There's more Spectabilis, Variety Spectabilis. Just absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful. And we got Gia sage right here, Salvia columbarii. Here's a species of pincushion. Not sure the species, but it's in the genus Cainactus. It's in the sunflower family. And here we are. Golden eardrops, Arendorf fairy chrysanthemum. I don't know what it is, but this plant, I don't know, always enjoyed seeing this plant. The last few years here in the Santa Ana Mountains, stuff's been coming up like crazy after all these fires. So the fire follower, it's in the poppy family, the Papaveraceae. It's a perennial. I don't think it's very long-lived. It doesn't live very extremely long. So it's kind of a short-lived perennial. You see right here, you see this is the previous years. These are from previous years here. And you can see all the ferny foliage in the middle. That's the resprout from this year, because they die back in the later in the summer and fall months. And of course, another one to add to the wildflower list. Common chamise, Adenostoma fasciculatum, Variety fasciculatum. These little tiny flowers, these little bitty flowers, when these plants are in full bloom, are quite spectacular themselves. They can, since chamise can cover entire hillsides, you can have hillsides that look white. So, not only do the herbaceous plants give off great floral displays, a lot of our woody plants, our shrubs, and our trees do as well. There's more rush rose right there, and more diplicus, more monkey flower. And a lot of the ones here in the Santa Anas, a lot of the monkey flowers I've seen are really deep red. And then there are also some that are more orange. There's supposed to be some that are more yellow. I guess it depends. And here's another one. This is a little bit more of a circumspect flower. You kind of have to get up close to it to really notice it. So this is California figwort, or California bee plant. And this is Scrophularia californica. And these flowers are really small, but they got this really deep wine red. So these are pretty flowers. So you just kind of have to get up really close to them to really look at them and to really get to appreciate them. This is also a perennial plant. This is in the Scrophulariaceae, the figwort family. And you can see the leaves are kind of deltoid, kind of rough, like tooth-edged. It's one of those plants that grows during the spring. It's spring and early summer, then dies back in the fall for the fall dry season, and then it leaves out during midwinter. During the rainy season, it leaves out, and by spring, it gives off these little circumspect, reddish red, wine-colored flowers that are, if you look at them really close, are pretty neat. The plant's an attractive plant as it is. But April and May up here can be ridiculously spectacular up here in the Santa Ana range. Just a nice little palette of color. just a little something to brighten the mood. And with the nice, delightfully cool weather we're having right now, which is about to change again. Just had a mini heat wave. We're gonna get another hot spell. Thankfully, it seems to be cooling off around my off days from work, so it makes my hiking days more pleasant. So I'll take it. It could be hot during the week. I don't care. Well, I don't like it hot, but as long as it's during the week. On my days off, Sunday, Monday, especially Sunday, I like it nice and cool. Here we go, chia with little flowers on it. Salvia columbarii. There it is, the chia with its nutritious seeds. So there's a lot of circumspect stuff here too, other than Scrophularia californica. Little tiny wildflowers that are really gonna, they call them belly flowers because you got to basically be lying on your belly to really see them. And of course, this will be blooming later in the year. Hazardia squarosa varieties grandelioides, sawtooth golden bush. So I like these little off-trail adventures. You can really find some cool stuff. Again, beautiful golden eardrops. Arendorferia chrysantha. Hoping to get some footage of this plant today. You can tell this plant used to have a really huge stalk on it. These things can tower over your head. I've seen them at least 6, 7, maybe even 8 feet tall. But this area just has a really nice vibe to it. This is the natural succession. The chaparral canopy burns, and a lot of the chaparral shrubs resprout like the chamise. You can see here. And then before this area becomes closed up again, then you get all these shorter-lived perennials and annuals. You get annuals and short-lived perennials like penstemon, rush rose, and they are the next layer of succession before the chaparral eventually knits itself back over this spot, and then it becomes thick chaparral again. But you get a good few to several years after to be able to appreciate the floral beauty here. The really beautiful floristic diversity of little tiny spots like this. As you just walk a couple feet, there's something else. There's something different. So beautiful. Of course, I saw some in bloom. There's a lot of rush rose here. It's actually one of the most common understory species in this little spot right here. But, and we also got some other stuff. I'm trying to find it. It's also pretty common in disturbed areas. It's deerweed, Acmispon glauber. That's another plant that blooms in the spring months. And it's one of those plants that stays dormant most of the summer and looks like a bunch of dead twigs. And now for some reason, weird reason, I'm not seeing it. I remember seeing it up here the first time. I saw a few, but they weren't blooming today. I'm trying to find some Acmispon glauber. It's a coastal deer broom. It's a really small subshrub, summer dormant, drought dormant plant in the pea family, Fabaceae. I believe ours is variety glauber. So I'm basically seeing everything except for it's found in a certain area. I've also seen a lot of bedstraw plants in the genus Gallium. I want to say that's Gallium angustifolium. I'm not 100% fluent in my bedstraw plants. There are a lot of those up here too. And they're actually in the madder/coffee family, the Rubiaceae. And they have these really tiny flowers. I think they're 4-petaled or 4-sepaled or whatever. Really tiny flowers. And we got Helianthus gracilentus, slender sunflower, which isn't extremely prevalent here. Slender sunflower, these ones are not quite blooming yet, but there were some spots at slightly lower elevations. I don't know if we're about 3,000 feet. I forget how high we are here. But here we go. Here's a deer broom right here. It's Acmispon glaber variety glaber. It used to be known as Lotus scoparius, variety scoparius. And they have these little tiny pea-shaped blossoms, very indicative of their heritage, the pea family of Fabaceae. So that's Acmispon glaber. So, amazing the amount of diversity, floristic diversity you can find in a small little space of walking. That's what it'd be like here in the Santa Ana Range. Another way. This is kind of slippery. But there you have it. Spring's in bloom here in the Santa Ana / Elsinore Mountains. So get on out here and enjoy it. It's not going to be here much longer. Before you know it, it's going to be summer and everything's going to be brown. Either it's brown or it'll be in seed. It's really to appreciate the flowers. Come on out soon. It's early May. That's when we're kind of peaking up here. April and May are good months to be here in the Santa Ana Range. And so, on that note, thanks for watching. And I'll see you on another